Well, the good news is that Jean's been stopped from leaving the building. He's decided that he'll come back. So will you please welcome Jean to say a few words and say a few jokes, I think.
Thank you, Peter. There's a clock at the side of the stage and it says 17 minutes. It's changed to 9:58. They don't like me already. It's lovely to be with you at this wonderful Rotary conference. Welcome to Belfast. Welcome to the waterfront. Welcome to lovely Northern Ireland. You're going to hear some jokes today and tonight. Irish jokes, Scottish jokes, Welsh jokes, English jokes, German jokes, lots of things. I love all kinds of humour. Most of you probably flew into the George Best City Airport, which is just down the road. And my wife and I were going to Bonnie, Scotland a couple of weeks ago. I took her with me because it was better than kissing her goodbye. And went down to the George Best City Airport, and I said to the wife, I hate aeroplane food. I'm going to have something to eat before we get on the plane. And then over to the wee cafe at the city airport, and the wee girl says, in her best Belfast accent, what do you want? I says, can I have a ham sandwich, a cup of tea, and a small Kit Kat? Right? And she set them up, and I says, excuse me, all I have is a £20 note. She says, put the Kit Kat back. So we're on the plane, and the wee man in the inside seat, God love him, must never have been in an aeroplane before. And he said to the air hostess, excuse me, miss, could I have a gin and tonic? So she got him a gin and tonic. And he says, miss, what do I do if I want another gin and tonic? She says, just reach up and push that wee button above your head. And 15 minutes later, he's sitting with the glass up against the air nozzle. And he kept looking into it and saying to me, I think they must be out of gin. But there are delegates here from all over the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland, and it's great to see you. This big Scots fella standing at the bar in Glasgow, and there's a wee Asian gentleman standing beside him. He says, tell us this. He says, do you do kung fu or karate or those martial arts? He says, you're asking me because I am Chinese. He says, no, I'm asking you because you're drinking my pint. I love all humour. I love humour that involves children, because children for me are very smart. I have a wee granddaughter called Olivia, and she's only 4. And recently I was taking her home, and she said to me, Grandad, you have a sat-nav in your car. I says, I have, Olivia. Have you got a sat-nav in your car? No, she said, so when we go out, we know where we're going. 4 years of age. But do you know, at Christmas time, when the children go back to school after the Christmas holidays, the first day back, there's nothing to do, really. So the teacher started asking the kids, how did they spend Christmas? And said, Seamus, what did you do on Christmas morning? Well, Seamus says, we get up at 8 o'clock, and Dad took us to 10 o'clock Mass. We came home with played with our toys, and then we had our Christmas lunch, and it was lovely. He says, Billy, what did you do on Christmas morning? Well, he says, our service in the Presbyterian Church didn't start until 11. We went to church, and then we came home, we had our lunch, and we played with our toys. And wee Isaac Cohen, the wee Jewish fellow in the class, says, Isaac, what did you do on Christmas morning? Isaac says, well, we get up on Christmas morning, and Dad took the whole family out in his brand new Jaguar motor car, and we went down to see his toy factory. And we walked into his toy factory, and we looked at all the empty shelves, and we joined hands and sung, what a friend we have in Jesus. Lovely humour. Lovely humour. But you see, we have this lovely humour. You know, the great Dame Mary Peters is on that, and you get Mary, you know, taking herself down. But that's the way we do. Paddy went to the Antiques Roadshow, which is a fabulous programme, and he brought these 2 stuffed dogs. And you know, they have an expert, and they set the dogs up on the table and he examined them. He says, Paddy, do you realise what you've got here? He says, you have a prime example of the work of the very famous London taxidermist, John Robertson, who was the taxidermist of his days back in the 30s and the 40s in London. And you have a prime example of his work here. He says, Paddy, in good condition, he says, what do you think the dogs would fetch? Paddy says, a stick. And this is us. There was a robbery in Belfast recently, and the police went to Paddy's house and says, "Paddy, where were you between 4 and 10? He says, "Primary school." Dame Mary talked about how Northern Ireland has changed over the years. And one of the big changes that took place in Northern Ireland was when Luciano Pavarotti came to do a concert at Stormont. I know some of you were up at Stormont yesterday, and on those grounds at Stormont, there were 10,000 people watching Luciano Pavarotti. But the wee drunk from Belfast decided he wasn't going to sit at a concert for 2 hours without a few drinks. So he had 8 pints of Guinness, 4 vodkas, 3 glasses of wine, a Bailey's Irish cream, and a Galveston and lemonade. And at the end of it, somebody says, "Well, Sammy, what did you think of Pavarotti?" He says, "He's terrible." He says, "And he hates it when you join in." And then this wee woman from Belfast said to the husband, "Seamus, I've got us 2 tickets for Pavarotti." He says, "That's great, Lily. Is it for 1 week or 2? This is the craziest people in the world. But Paddy and the wife were going out to a big Rotary dance up in Lisburn quite recently. And she says, "Paddy, I'm going to have a shower in the bathroom en suite." So she had a wee shower and she opened the bedroom door. She says, "Paddy, would you close the bedroom curtains? I don't want the neighbours to see me." Paddy says, "Don't you worry, Bridget. If the neighbours see you, they'll close their own curtains." I mentioned my grandchildren, so which means that I'm obviously married. I'm married a long time. I'm married 48 years. And I was just thinking, because I was watching the golf, and Tiger Woods is back to playing in the Masters this year, and it brought me back to Tiger Woods did a lot of us golfers a terrible disservice going out and having an affair. Like, I wouldn't have an affair with another woman because I really love my house. And Dame Mary was speaking about going to the royal wedding between Prince William and Kate. And, and all we girls looked at that and said, "This is life. This is what it's all about. Girls, what planet are you living on?" Her and me's married 48 years. We get into bed at night, she says to me, "I'll race you to sleep." But I got married 1966. Now, the district governor here, Philip, is a personal friend of mine. I've known him since the last pope was in the Hitler Youth, which is a long time. And we worked together for a company called Maxall, part of the Shell, Mex and BP group of those days, and we worked together. 1966, I was working for Maxall along with the district governor, and my salary then was £900 a year. And I remember when I got married, I gave the priest £10. Now, £10 was a lot of money when you only earn £900 a year. And fair play to the priest, he got the £10 and he took a look at the wife and he gave me £8 change. But we did get married all those years ago. We got married on the 26th of September 1966 in the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Revenge. And to find out that day that Irish women are not looking husbands, Irish women are looking hostages. And for 48 years I've paid the ransom faithfully every single Friday. But life is brilliant. I'm very lucky in the career that I sort of fell into. I was doing a cruise last year with the great Charlie Pride, the greatest country singer of them all. And we were down in the Caribbean, and we had this fabulous magician on board. It was fantastic. And he used to do that trick every night, getting somebody up and sawing them in half. Have you seen that trick? Sawing somebody. And I said to him, Geraldo, they call him the great Geraldo. I says, "Geraldo, how many years are you doing that trick?" He says, "I'm doing it 32 years. I says, "That is absolutely fantastic." I says, "Have you any family?" He says, "I've 2 half-brothers and a half-sister." But this is what it's all about. As I say, we have wonderful fun in our country. Paddy was lying in bed this night. He's going, "Oh, Linda, oh, Linda, oh, Linda." And the wife had him a dig in the rib. She says, "Who's Linda?" And quick as a flash, she says, "One of the lads in Rotary gave me a tip for a horse." And he arrived home from work that night at 6 o'clock, and all his clothes were lying in the front garden. And he says to the wife, "What's all this carry on?" She says, your horse phoned. Anyway, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to see you in Northern Ireland for this magnificent weekend conference. We have a show tonight in the Hilton. Some of the people are going to that show. You're going to hear some of the same jokes again, probably not in the same order, but sure, we're all human. We can laugh twice. And then there's a fabulous concert tomorrow night here in the waterfront. Enjoy Northern Ireland. Thanks for bringing the good weather. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're photographing on there.
We're getting the photos taken.
What a showman, folks. There we are. Thanks, Gene, very
Thanks,
much
Peter.
indeed.
Thank you.